Mitesh. Hemang Jani as well joins in now. Hey, hi Hemang, thanks so much for joining in. Well, a few of these names, they are bucking the trend. The one that stands out is Hindustan Unilever. That's been a relative underperformer, high quality stock, went to 2,850, then corrected to around 2,000. There were no takers. But now it appears input costs are slowing down. Maybe volume growth will come about as well. Though the management has been quite vocal about rural India slowing down. How do you approach the stock at around 2,400 rupees?
So overall, we are very positive on this space, mainly as you outlined that the input cost pressure is likely to ease, and we are also seeing much better progress on the monsoon front, and people are actually trying to move out of some of the commodity-based stocks into the consumer, auto and financials. And as a part of that rotation, I think people would prefer consumer names. So be it HUL, Britannia, GCPL. Also, we have seen that the palm oil prices actually have corrected quite a lot. So people are feeling more comfortable, and we also have a positive view on these names. Along with HUL, Britannia, Godrej Consumer and even ITC, we think are extremely well placed in the current scenario.
Okay. Well, just looking at some more names, ONGC is the stock which has bounced back today and is sort of, of course, in line with the market. It's also given up some of the gains, but at least still holding in the green. And SBI Card has really been a strong stock today. Even now, the stock's pretty much at the high point of the day. Godrej Consumer is the other one which has made a bit of a move, and M&M Financial as well. Hemang, good afternoon. Any views on SBI Card?
So SBI Card, we have a positive view, Anuj, but somehow in between the stock actually did not perform well. And even on the that merchant card rates, the news flow was not positive. The fact that, the entire financial sector is back in the vogue and you don't have too many names in this particular category, there might be some buying interest, but haven't really come across any specific news flow over there.
Okay. All right, Hemang, stay with us. We'll take a mandatory break. When you come back, we'll continue tracking the markets. Let's see what the final 10 minutes holds for the bulls and the bears. More market talk lined up on the other side.
Maybe I spoke a bit too soon that 15,800 is proving to become a bit of support. It could still well prove to be. I mean, at least on a averaging basis, we should still close about 15,800 mark. But the markets, today's move has been quite treacherous, like I mentioned. Pull out IEX intraday. That really has been the biggest sort of declining stock. 3% down today. Now, if you look at what's happened to the stock over the last 3 or 4 months, it's halved. It's down 52% now from its recent highs. Just a one-way decline. Over a 12-month period, it's still up 21%. Tells you the kind of one-way rally that we had in some of these platform stocks. Hemang, any view on IEX?
So, Anuj, we had a positive view on IEX, but having seen a very big growth there and the fact that the entire mid-cap and the broader market stocks have corrected, I think the correction is lined with that, and these stocks are not very liquid. So when you have a thin liquidity, the price impact could be higher. So for now, we are avoiding these kind of stocks which were kind of showing a lot of momentum. But at some point, we would definitely review in terms of, putting a fresh buy.
Mang, I wanted a quick view on Tata Steel. A few minutes ago, the delivery volumes just came out. In the India business, well, there's been a bit of a degrowth. They have said because of moderation in exports, owing to that, export duty that's been levied out there. And even in the European business, if we look at it on a year-on-year basis, that as well is down close to around 5%. It's coming at around 2.16 million tons. So volume's a little bit weakish, but I think the street was anticipating that. At around 850 rupees odd, how would you view the stock, Hemang?
So, Nigel, we would clearly avoid the steel and the metal stocks because the quarterly numbers, there is going to be a negative surprise. Also, we think that, given the way things are shaping up, is not boding well for the entire sector. And next year, again, we are looking at a significant downgrades. So I think for now, we would definitely avoid most of the commodities, particularly the steel stocks, whether it's India or Europe. I think things are not looking positive.
Okay, Hemang, thanks a lot for joining us. Good talking to you as always. Before we wrap up market action for the day, I just want to spend 30 seconds on the intraday chart of dollar rupee. I mean, this is looking really eerie. Just look at that intraday chart. This almost resembles a bit of a mid-cap chart. Of course, we're talking about this is a dollars move, and that's why it going up. We show it in red because it's basically rupee declining. So 79.32 is what we had. Now, for last 3 or 4 days, it looked like there was some kind of support at 79. But Nigel, if you reach a stage where globally it becomes visible that something is changing, then I think even from the RBI point of view, it becomes perhaps meaningless to sort of defend any level. 79.32. Now, I think last week we had Anant Narayan who was talking about the fact that keep in mind the rupee has still outperformed a lot of its emerging market peers, and the real value perhaps could be somewhere around 81, 82. Of course, you can't just let it go in one go, but 79.32 is what we have on the currency. Let's start wrapping up the market action then. 26 points down on the Nifty, so it doesn't look like we had a rough day, but keep in mind we went to 16,000 and then slipped from there. The Bank Nifty was down about 150 points, so down about 0.5%. In terms of index stocks, ITC saw some profit taking, Larsen and Tubro, and the IT stocks like Infosys, Wipro were down. HDFC, Kotak Mahindra Bank, HDFC Life, Mahindra & Mahindra and Axis Bank were among some of the other losers in this trade. Throw in IndusInd Bank, Divi's Labs, Adani Ports as well, which was down about 0.5%. On the way up, cement stocks actually did well. Shree Cement in particular was up about 1%. Some bit of rally in names like HUL and ONGC, and Reliance also saw some rally, but otherwise a weak day and big fall in the broader market intraday, Nigel.
Well, that's right. A few stocks, actually, frontline names that took a whack. RBL Bank, those numbers look disappointing. The street whacked that stock, visited a fresh 52-week low. It was down close to around 7%. SRF, there are some concerns that are plaguing the stock. Valuation-wise as well, not cheap. So that stock was down close to around 6% in trade today. Oil India, it's a real pity. Valuation-wise look attractive. You had to play on oil, you had to play on gas, you had to play on refining out there. From 300 rupees all the way to around 900 to 190 rupees, beg your pardon. Coromandel International stock was down close to around 3.5%. And finally, TVS Motors as well did see some selling. The stock did well, though, from the broader markets was SBI Cards, Havells as well. Remember, input costs have cooled down, so maybe that could be a potential beneficiary. Now, from the broader markets, there were a few winners, mind you. Even on a day that you had the costs have cooled down, so maybe that could be a potential beneficiary. Now, from the broader markets, there were a few winners, mind you. Even on a day that you had the Nifty that ended virtually at the low point of the day. So Marks & Sparma, they announced the buyback. The street liked that. LG Equipment, well, that stock as well was up and about. In Orient Bell, there was always that valuation comfort for the stock. Well, it seems the street is buying into that. This year itself, the stock has done quite well. And in fact, if you look at it, in the last 1 month or so, the stock is up big time. So Orient Bell did pretty well. Asahi India Glass, the stock was up and about in trade today. HLE Glass, that was the other one that popped up in trade towards the end of the trading session. Mirza International as well did pretty well in today's trading session. And you had Gujarat Fluoro as well. Well, that stock as well was up and about. But fair to say that it was a disappointing trading session. The Nifty showed a lot of promise earlier on in the trading session, but it deceived towards the end. We hit into resistance at around 16,030. From there, we corrected close to around 200 points. The Nifty Bank corrected more than 500 points from the recent peak. And by the time we wound up, well, the breadth of the market that otherwise looked so good, firmly in favor in the number of stocks that are advancing, well, it ended pretty much even Stevens. 1,300 stocks on the advancing, 1,300 stocks on the declining as well on the NSE. So a little bit disappointing for the bulls today. Well, on that note, though, we'll have to wrap up on this edition of Closing Bell. But you stay with us. A very interesting chat on India's crypto market coming up on the other side in our special show.